We are live. Good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully, you're doing great. Here on a gloomy and a bit rainy, wet day in Southern California. Your host here, BC Rioja. Hope everything is well at the Bisimoto facility with the team. I'd like to apologize ahead of time. You may hear noises in the front and behind me as well as time progresses as the team continues to work during this excursion. But thank you so much for seeing all of you. Tristan Evans, 99, good seeing you, friend, as well. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. TJV3 says first, thank you for joining. I think Tristan beat you, but nonetheless, welcome. True Vegas Type R is here, courtesy of Nevada, Las Vegas. Thank you so much for joining. I should be in Vegas sometime soon to take care of some business. Speaking of Type R, there's a proper Integra Type R here that the team is working on as well, which should be quite nice. So thank you so much for joining. I'm here today, this afternoon, to be able to have this opportunity to give back to a community that has been absolutely fantastic for me. As you can hear from my accent, I am Nigerian. Do a ton of things here in the United States. I finished up engineering, had the opportunity to learn a lot about automobiles. I want to be able to share my knowledge and wealth with each and every one of you here so that we as a community can grow quite nicely. Good day to you, Ryan C. Good day to you, sir, indeed. Keep up the good work from Memphis, Tennessee, says Scott Pedden. Thank you so much, Scott, for joining. DFIT23 on IG. Thank you so much for joining as well. Number one fan, Jess Wood. Thank you, Han, for being part of this. I appreciate you and love you deeply. What are the 3 things you're grateful for, says RV Benny is grateful. Well, first, I'm grateful to be part of this amazing community of automobiles, being able to have fun stuff with amazing automotive solutions for mobility and racing is something that I really love deeply. To have the opportunity also to, how should I say, enjoy what I do. Jonathan and I were talking about that a few minutes ago, where I really love what I do, and it makes me feel like I'm not working. I'm fortunate enough to be able to have a living with something that I enjoy immensely. Secondly, I'm very happy to have myself surrounded by loving people, from Jessica to the kids, to my parents. Everyone is just amazing. My team here, we're just one big loving family across the globe. And I'm very grateful for having such great love people around me. And then above and beyond that, health and spirituality. The fact that my team and I and family and I are healthy. And even though I have a bit of a cold coming on, nonetheless, overall, nothing major, and I'm just very grateful for those things. So I hope that helps, and thanks for that amazing question, RB Benny. Appreciate you indeed. True Gas Type R says Homeland. Yes. All right. DFIP23 says, I've been watching your vids way back. I really do enjoy it. Thank you, and the best is yet to come. Watermelon Lover says D935. Is that 935 in the back in white, says Sean Coleman. Yes, that's a Moby Dick Porsche 935L. This is a 935 77A right there. You can't quite see on this side, but I'll try and tilt it over a little bit. You can kind of see that's a 935 M16. So yes, I have a soft spot for everything 935, the slant nose look, the boxy look, the wide body. I just kind of love it indeed. What's your favorite Honda engine, says Amish Tier 08. Wow, I would say the F22A is my favorite Honda engine, only because it's very cost effective and has an opportunity for immense power and capabilities. In terms of best Honda engine with aftermarket support, I'll say is the K24A, which is quite nice indeed. Some great questions here and comments. Sanya Performance says chocolate. I don't know what that means. Love your cars, BC says Out of the Mouth Jenkins on YouTube. Thank you so much. Appreciate the kind words. The best is yet to come. Hello, says Nur Sultan Nazir Dinov, also on YouTube. And by the way, in case you guys are wondering why am I talking to so many different people, I have Instagram right here in front of me. To the left and your right, I have my friends on TikTok and family as well. And also have YouTube Live. And for those of you who want to take advantage of podcasting opportunities, on the very bottom, I'm using Spotify podcasters to record my voice interaction with all of you so that it can be archived for perpetuity, and you can go on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Spotify, and just search for Bisimoto, and my stuff will come up, which is quite nice indeed. So we can have an opportunity to. Sorry about the noise. guys. They're making a cage right now for a client with another 935. So please forgive me. Oh my God, are those 935s? Says KHR. Yes, they are. As a matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, we had a night of 935s where we had 5 Bisimoto built 935s in one vicinity in the Southern California area, which was fantastic. It was idyllic in downtown Los Angeles, and it was good. It was a great time, and more to come, more to add to the arsenal. KHR gave me my number 2 gifter badge. Appreciate that. Philly D, same thing, a gifter badge as well. KHR gave me another one. Thank you for the kind gestures. I appreciate each and every one of you. Tommaso Di Lorenzo, cool name by the way, says, hey BC, would you say the best flowing intake manifold is the B18C7, B16B comparing to aftermarket? When it comes to the B series aftermarket, my experience has shown that the highest flowing intake manifold is the Edelbrock Victor X. That thing is wonderful. Some people know the Performer X, which is okay. It's like a nice little upgrade from the Type R, but the Victor X as an intake manifold that's plenum style is ridiculous. I've seen people make sick power with that, power almost rivaling large volume individual throttle bodies. So I hope that helps. Out-of-mouth Jenkins, have you built your dream build yet? Not yet. I have one dream build I would say would combine today's modern mobility solutions for amazing power and just excitement, combined also with a heritage of Porsche's old school racing pedigree, and also adding a dash of creature comforts which never exists in such a project. So I don't want to give too much away. I can tell you it's a little bit like 935, but not quite. Very prototype looking in nature, and that is my dream build, and I'd love to bring it to fruition hopefully in the next 5 years. So wish me luck. Hello, says Nur Sultan Nazidinov. Hello to you as well. Warrior Fellow also on YouTube said, what's up, BC? Hello, thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you. Zachary Wood says hello also on TikTok and gave me my number 2 gifter badge. Appreciate the gesture as well. Thank you. I want to see these Porsches, taking it to track days, says D523. And that's the unfortunate thing of me being an entrepreneur. Back in the day when I had a separate job in pharmaceuticals and had some decent resources and some weekends to myself, I was able to race all across the country. Nowadays, I am really inundated with the team and building project cars. I don't get to enjoy myself as much. The last time I went to the track was November last year. So that being said, I promise you as time progresses and allows me, I love racing. It's where I hone my teeth. It's what I enjoy to do. It's the best way for me to experience my creations, and I need to be out there sooner than later. Even though in Southern California, our tracks are closing left and right. Pomona is very limited to us. We no longer have Palmdale. We no longer have Long Beach, or better yet, Terminal Island. We no longer have Irwindale. Bakersfield is a bit of a trek. On a road race track, we do have Streets of Willow and Big Willow and Chuckwalla, a little bit with why am I drawing a blank? We just went there with KW recently. Buttonwillow. So we have all these great tracks, but a lot of them are closing down. Carlsbad is now gone. So even though I love drag racing, I can't do much of that anymore. Road racing is a lot of fun, but it takes a lot of preparation and time to get ready for it. And I just need to get project cars out of here. There's a red 930 here that needs to go very soon for some testing, despite the rain this week. Same with a silver 930 as well. The team is working on this beautiful 935. It's just a lot going on. So much to come. Please hang in there. You're number 1, says Born a Drummer. Thank you so much. That must be Glenn. Hello, Glenn, sir. A very good friend of mine who is an accomplished actor, by the way. Had a wonderful life and continues to live it, from putting up residence in the Fontainebleau in Florida to being part of Hall & Oates as a drummer. Yes, the famous Hall & Oates band. He was a drummer there. To being a proper role, or securing a proper role in the movie Tombstone. So, Glenn, I appreciate you a lot. I need to come pick you up just when I need to come and take you to lunch or dinner and talk about some good old times and have a good time together as well. Forgive the noise, they're cutting right now. Sounds like a plan. Vanilla Malt next week at 50's Cafe. Sounds great. Kev's Rep C saying, do you like VWs? I do. I like the water cooled and air cooled. I do indeed. What's your favorite car to work on? I would say right now building either petrol or EV 935 are a lot of fun. And there is actually a Neo EP9 that we're working on right now as well. That is unlike anything else. It's the only one in the country that seems like a fun car. I just like working on fun stuff, you know? David Little. Hello, David. David is also a good friend of mine who is on YouTube right now. Fun chap, fellow enthusiast, was my bank manager at US Bank years ago. Now he's in the military doing some great things. He actually bought the Bisimoto 533 horsepower CRZ. And if you guys are interested, it's up for sale. With David's permission, I'm thinking about doing a really cool raffle with that and making that happen. That way someone can really enjoy the vehicle without putting too much money into it. And above and beyond that, he can get what he can recoup what he put into the vehicle itself as well. So David, we'll chat soon. I'll give a call and get your insight on if that's something you would like to explore. Hopefully my noise cancellation headphones are helping as the team works away on metal back there. So please forgive me if it's a bit of a challenge, you know? Jason also on YouTube says, what's up, BC? Just picked up an '01 CRV with the B20. Anything to watch out for with that motor? The B20 is quite a formidable non-VTEC engine, quite potent. The one thing is to really look at the valve cover, put the valve cover up, take a look at the camshafts itself to make sure there's no wearing. The bad thing about the B20 being an overhead cam, not that it's a bad thing for the engine, but the bad thing with current day oils is the fact that when you do use a low zinc oil in those B20 engines, they tend not to protect the valve train quite nicely. And you tend to get a lot of scarring on the camshafts and valve train. So that being said, check out the valve cover itself, check out the cams, make sure there's no scarring. If there is scarring, immediately try and repair that by putting the camshafts in. But better yet, if there's very little, minimal scarring and none whatsoever, you're good. Try and use high zinc oils. My oil of choice is Pure, of course. With 1770 parts per million of zinc to protect you. So that should be the way to go. And Jason, just to answer your question once again, Pure is one of my partners. Love their oil indeed. I think in stock I have some 530 and some 020, but nonetheless, not 530. I have some 1040, I see, and also 020. And oh, by the way, they do offer sponsorship, so hit them up on Instagram if you're on there, Jason. Purol_USA.com, PUROL_USA. High zinc will protect your engine and be able to take care of you, and let them know BC sent you. That's for all of you, and maybe they can help you with a partial sponsorship. So let me know. Godamouth Jenkins says, BC, would you ever do a combo charge J-Series in the rear engine Porsche? That would be a fun project to do. If I were to do that in a rear engine Porsche, maybe on something like a 914, not necessarily on a 911. 911s are really viable right now, and people tend to not be so upset with converting to electric, but definitely putting a water-cooled engine that's non-Porsche, whether it's a V8 or Subaru or Honda, is a bit frowned upon. So that being said, a 914 on the other hand, you can still get them for a decent price, and should be a fun project to do that, to be able to incorporate Honda reliability and power with a nice lightweight chassis. So to answer your question, yes, I would, but right now, I don't have anything in the works for that. Awesome, you take time to teach, says Speed Camp. Hello, Speed Camp. That is my good friend, Roger. Speed Camp was one of my earliest sponsors back in the 90s. I mean it, guys. When it came to everything electronics-wise, engine management solutions, using Speed Pro, setting up vehicles for proper racing capability, Speed Camp was your place to go to when it came to everything import performance. We had a beautiful Civic, branched off the Hyundais and doing a lot of racing. So I do appreciate a lot, Roger. We need to connect soon. And thanks for your years of support and advocacy. Is that a Speed 7, says the Great Book Fit Media? You have a good eye. That is a Super 7 courtesy of Lotus. So yes, or Caterham, as many people don't talk to that. Would the M16 get a new livery soon, said Tripod 806? I don't have any plans for that. As a matter of fact, initially had that very nice old school, almost Guatemalan, I would say, livery with like blue and yellow. But then I had to take it off to film with it with a show for Discovery because they didn't want all the sponsors on it. And then when I left it clean, it looks pretty nice. So I think just keep it with a clean look. Of all my 935s that have liveries, or back and forth with nice sponsor decals and so on and so forth, this one I think I'll just leave clean and blue. Hopefully that gives you some insight. All right, let's see here. Hello, Tumbleweed. Thank you so much for joining here on Instagram. Appreciate you being part of this wet Tech Tuesday. Glenn is the mind, says Phil 10 NYC. Absolutely, I love that guy deeply. Hello, son, says Lost Build 00. And by all means, guys, you may think, is that really BC's dad? Well, In the digital world, yes. And what I mean by that is Carlos Built OO is a sheriff. You may see me post his beautiful squad car today, which was still exists as this wonderful Corvette. Don't mess with it. That thing would take you out. North of 850 wheel horsepower, monster. That thing is ridiculous. Drives around, can go straight and corner at the same time. Has these amazing Toyo TQ street slicks in the rear. Just a great guy who came to me initially as a customer, and we became very close friends, pretty much family as years progressed. In a movie about my life, he played my father. So that's why I call him dad, he calls me son, because he played my dad in the film not too long ago, so that'll be good. A replica 356 with little video D, says Baby Little, and we already did that. We have a white one in house, yes. We built one, and that thing is a fun vehicle indeed. Do you know much about Alpha Motors, says Tumble Lee? No, I do not. I've not had the opportunity to work on one, personally. Sorry about the noise. Let's take it a little bit. Okay. I haven't worked on one personally, but I've supplied parts to individuals who built them. The most recent car build that I helped with was with my good friend Ralph Gilles, who has a vehicle here we're working on as well. He's a global head of design for Stellantis, and he has an Alpha that we supply some engine management solution parts to. But I haven't had the opportunity with a classic or modern to play with the one in-house. Young Spicy Boy gave me my #1 gifted badge. Thank you so much for doing that. Bro, you're the guy who make the scary builds? Yes, I am. We tried Young Spicy Boy. I make builds that terrify people. Whether it's this blue one right here, that's 920 horsepower. When we're done with that 935, it's going to be like terrifying. My most quickest EV to date, which is that right there that we built in-house. There's a 997 right there. That's really fun for an enthusiast. It has it. That Caterham is fun as well. This 72 911 wide body will also have 700 pound-foot of torque, which is terrifying of the driver. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good indeed. We're gonna have a lot of fun here. Porsche Paradise behind you, says NAB Visual Design. Thanks to you. Nicholas from NAB is a very talented concept artist. You see that silver 935 77A right there? He did delivery for that, which is quite nice. The car that I drove a couple of days ago, the Bisimoto Plaid, he also did delivery on that as well. You know that wonderful Honda Prologue I have on the bags with the white wheels from Brixton Forge that just breaks the internet every time I post it? He drew that up too. So very talented guy, and I really appreciate him. And he's helping us with some more projects on the horizon. And I'm gonna write to you later on today, Nicholas, to give you some insight on the 935 we have coming up. Appreciate you indeed. Skip Rock says, can we see the Heifer HFR? Hello, Skip Rock, who definitely knows about HFR or the Heifer. That was my very first race car, my 88 Honda CRX HF. And when we used to race in Long Beach at the Terminal Island Brotherhood Raceway, I used to put HFR, like almost like an HF type R, because it was pretty fast and did amazing for us. And then the one gentleman at the track, I'm trying to remember his name. He was one of the tech guys. He always write HFR and call it Heifer. So my time slips had HFR on it, which is pretty cool. So thanks for that trip down memory lane. Appreciate you indeed. Ty Wayne 01 says, do you know much about BMW? I used to have a 335i. Now I kind of want to put an S85 V10 into an E46. Rod bearings are a must. Yes, those engines are notorious to be able to chuck rod bearings and spin them. It's good to be able to use updated rod bearings. And above and beyond that, WPC coating your crankshaft. That will do a wonderful job in keeping any challenges of friction at bay, allowing the oil in your crankcase to do its great job. I think you're on the right path. Make it happen. Izumi is the owner of WPC here in Southern California. It's not a coating, it's more of a surface treatment that puts very small depressions and allows oil and friction to do quite well in the internal combustion engine components, whether it's on piston pins, crankshaft, camshafts, rocker arms. I use extensively, and it saves my motors, makes my stuff so nice. So it's really good. Lost Build Dad says, haha, good times. Absolutely. London Camera Project says, sounds like a standard jack being dragged across the floor. Actually, it's not. It's my team. They're cutting tubes, 1.75-inch tubes. We're doing a chromoly cage in a 935 tribute vehicle. So that being said, that's what you hear in the background. Not necessarily a jack. But next door, we have a facility that is being moved in. They, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, they are a security surveillance company. and they are also doing construction. So I have a very thin wall that's actually separating us from them. So please forgive the noise and bear with me. 11.6HF, Skip. Oh, I remember you, OG AOL. Yes, single hurricane power. So guys, for those of you who are too young to know this, before all this crazy social networking, before we even had forums, before we had access to Facebook and TikTok and all these social networks that seem to be, before even MySpace, before we even had Friendster, we had AOL and their chat rooms. And that's the place where we used to get together as enthusiasts. Our favorite one was Japan Import Racing. That's where we went to congregate. It's like our digital watering hole from back in the day. And we discussed everything from technology to builds. And when I say how important that was, think about it. There was no Bisimoto engineering at the time, barely in AEM. There was no eBay, there was no Amazon, there was no place where you can buy parts. Sport compact racing was in its infancy. There were no parts. There were companies like JG Engine Dynamics that existed. Just small facilities. Jackson Racing was around that time too. But we just didn't have any parts. There was nothing created. HKS was there, but not as crazy as we were here in the US that we wanted to go faster with. RS Akimoto, all these Japanese companies were really, really cool and good for balance, but not crazy for our thirst for American fast drag racing power. So we had to figure things out ourselves, experiment, break things, blow things up, and use it to find ways to create go fast parts. And that was a place where we shared our insight and our knowledge, and even called out people for racing and got called out. So that was, in other words, our social networking, our digital watering hole, for lack of a better phrase. And it was just good times. And you had to type in, it was like, think of a scrolling message board, and you had to type in information. And I think a popular thing was ASL, age, sex, location. You ask people like, oh, I'm from Gardena, California, and I'm 18 years old, and I'm a male. And it was pretty cool. And here's my screen. So my screen name, I had everything from 13sec HF, because it's when I ran 13, so 12sec HF for a long time, to 11sec HF, and then my screen name became 10sec HF, which was pretty cool. So it was really nice to see that CRX progress from, my first pass on the drag strip was a 18.4 to finally get in that car that CRX to run 9 single cam. So that was a lot of fun indeed. Amazing car, says Krubis255 on Instagram. Thank you so much for the kind words. Keep it clean just gave me a #1 gifter badge on TikTok. Thank you so much. Dennis also gave me a #3 gifter badge. Appreciate the kind gestures. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Another gifter badge from A. Young. Thank you so much. What's up, that GV dude on TikTok? Appreciate your interaction with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love them, says Krubis255. I do too. Thanks for the kind words. Oh, you're building a cage, safety first. Absolutely, London Camera Project. The 935 blue one here has a proper cage because we like to show variety, and this one has like 6-point cage. That one has no cage because it's more like a luxury 935 streetable setup, if you'd like to think that could exist, but that's what this 77A is. The Mobi has a 4-point cage, which is quite nice, allows easy access in and out. So there's variety here. That way customers can come by, any one of you. They're making noise next door. And then one of you can come by and say, hey, here's what I want to build. I want something twin turbo air cooled with a 6-point cage and a livery that's more futuristic. How about that? So yeah, we can allow you to pick and choose what you like a la carte based upon the builds we have in here. So variety definitely is the spice of light. Oh no, my feed cut out. I didn't hear you respond to my message about the S85 V10, says Taiwan01. Well, the answer to the question is yes. That's a great project to have. Put the V10 in there. Do take apart the bottom end. Do address the bearing issues because they tend to spin bearings quite easily. And what I would do is utilize WPC treatment on the crankshaft and your bearings to allow you to place spun bearing capabilities at bay, because it helps your oil do a better job in protecting your bottom end and your rotating assemblies. Motorsport Archive says you're a legend. Thanks for the kind words. Appreciate you indeed. His and Hers Garage just gave me a #3 gifter badge on TikTok. Thanks for all the love, guys. Appreciate you indeed. Hey man, says Sherrett Rendison. From an engineering standpoint, is it possible to make a flat plane crank that can put into an LS motor? I know it's a bit of an upside. You can, but it's going to be very, very, very expensive. But it can be done by all means, and it'll make that very nice nice sound that people tend to like. There are companies that can do that crankshaft for you. It's not a challenge whatsoever, but put aside a nice decent budget for it. If all you want to achieve is sound and some type of stability, I get it. That's pretty cool. But if budget is of a concern, leave the LS as is and look for something else. Maybe a newer C8 can help you. AOL Best Days says Tumbleweed. Thank you so much. I agree. That was a lot of good time. Yes, Blitz and HKS days were fun. I remember Blitz, absolutely, and Bomex and all these cool Japanese companies from back in the day, right? It was pretty good. Apollo says, wow, thank you so much. Appreciate the gesture. I still remember seeing you on the freeway. You're still my hero, says Grass Cutters. Thank you so much for the kind words. Yes, I drive my cars a lot. I don't think there's one car in here that's trailer queen. I've been driving that Moby quite a bit. It's been raining and that thing is slick, so I'm not driving in the rain. The M16, of course, is something, if I don't drive, you see Jonathan driving around with that as well. Yeah, I just love driving my cars. What's the purpose of building something cool and fast if you just park it and not drive it at all? Please, Fab a Turbo Kit for my 992 GT3 RS. It says, Mr. Competition, you want to do that? That is awesome. Now, are you local? Maybe something can help you with, but yeah, that would be a fun project indeed. Send me a DM, let's see what we can do to make that happen. I love passion projects like that. Any recommendations for a D16 Z6 Turbo? Now, if you're talking about the turbo itself or the build, I have plenty to share with you. Been a fan since the Civic Wagon, says Romantic Knox. Thank you so much, appreciate you. Now, let's talk about this D16 Z6 Turbo. It depends on what your goal is in terms of drivability and power. And what I mean by that is if it's a street-faring vehicle, you want something really, really small to allow for an enjoyable experience, something in the 52, they might say 48 millimeter inducer range for spooling very nicely. You can do like the Garrett G series, maybe the Garrett, the G-550, which is nice. And that allows you to have nice spool and have the capability of getting close to 500 horsepower. If you want to go a little bit bigger, let's say you do a lot of drag racing and not a lot of street and road racing on can carving, you can go to a bigger turbo. Plus, clients of ours have gone as big as 76 millimeter turbos on a D series, using anti-lag to be able to spool that up very nicely, and then take off, have explosive launch and a high RPM power, to the courtesy of almost 800 horsepower, right? Which is also what you can do. You tend to rock Peter, pay Paul. A car that powerful tends to not have a lot of bottom end or mid range. So if you want something really streetable and fun, go with a smaller G series Garrett Turbo. If you want something really large, you can go with a bigger, like they have the G series setup. That's like a 1050 turbo, which is what I have in the Odyssey. But just keep in mind, because the displacement is very small, it won't spool very, very quickly. Now, when it comes to being able to put together a setup that can handle the kind of power you want to throw on it, here are the challenges with the D-Series engine. Connecting rods, very weak spot. You definitely want to upgrade to something from, let's say, Eagle. They're pretty cost effective, $300 to $400. You can get you a nice set of Eagle rods. For that, no problem whatsoever. Pistons, please run away, don't walk away, run away from any Vitara cast pistons. Because even though they're very cost effective, when they do go out and shatter, they destroy a bunch of things in the wake of it. You will lose your turbo itself, they'll destroy your head, mess up your valve. Okay, done cutting. So using a nice forged piston set, like say from a company like Trom, which we have a great opportunity to explore with you if you're so inclined. Cast pistons are a little bit more expensive than the forged pistons, a little bit more expensive than the cast ones, but well worth it. God forbid you have a mishap. Worst thing will happen is that piston will melt, and then you don't have any damage to your head or your turbos. Because when the Vitara pistons do disintegrate, it takes out the turbine because shrapnel goes everywhere, destroys your head. You have to start all over again. It's not worth it. Then let's say you're making north of 350 horsepower. You want to address the weak point of the sleeves in the block of the D series as well. Sleeve in the block allows you to go to 400 horsepower without qualm, pushing north to 800. I use Goniva for my sleeving deals, and that'd be the way to go. Now, the most advantageous power increase without sacrificing spool that you can do for your setup is running a Bisimoto D series camshaft, whether it's the D16 Z6 2.4 level or the level 3.6 for the ultimate in power. You don't sacrifice any spool whatsoever compared to stock, and you get significant amount of power, over 80 wheel horsepower, tested by independent research. Speed Factory did a test years ago. It was printed by Superstreet. I had no idea the test was going on, but it showed versus other competitors 80 wheel horsepower above the top competitor while maintaining amazing spool, while other companies lost spool. So when you do complement the camshaft with a Bisimoto Pro valve spring and retainer kit, you are good to go. I know it's a little bit of a long list of what to do to set up your D16 Z6, but that allows you to enjoy your vehicle reliably and have a lot of fun. This might be a dumb question, says Jason on YouTube, which there's no such thing as a dumb question, but I'm here to help. What is the best website for Honda aftermarket parts? It's kind of difficult to say because it depends on the marquee. If you use the D series, then the Bisimoto Engineering is the best place. If it's F series, same thing there. Unfortunately, there's not one site that is all encompassing. You have to kind of pick and choose components depending on what you need. There's not one best website. Unless you're talking about D series and F series, then we are the place to go. Not a dumb question at all, a very good one indeed. And a lot of people may have that question and you're here to help. Hyperkeys, salute to you as well. Thank you so much for joining this Bisimoto Tech Tuesday on a wet and damp and cold Tuesday morning or afternoon. Bomex, I pray your speed over your rival. Yes, Dad, that's what Bomex said. And also don't forget, you have to pray to the God of Bomex. So what he's talking about, for those of you who may not know, Bomex is a Japanese company and they wanted to appeal to all of us in the West. So they had on their sticker, and they printed this everywhere. I'm sure in Japanese it made sense, but when they translated, whoever translated to English, it didn't make sense at all. And this sticker was everywhere, on all the boxes, on the cars, and it has Bomex, pray to the God of Bomex, I pray your speed over rival, right? So it's almost like, I wouldn't say, if I had to guess, it may have been, admire what Bomex has to offer and get our parts and you'll be faster than your competitor. But it says, pray to the God of Bomex, I pray your speed over rival. That's how it came out. So it's pretty crazy indeed. Boss Pro 1000 on YouTube is asking, what's going on in here? Well, of course, because you're on my feed on YouTube, you know who I am. My name is BC Azariohan. I have the company Bisimoto with my team. I'm in my headquarters with a lot of cool cars behind me, and I'm here to answer questions about technology, life, my experiences, my projects, anything I've done so far, anything I plan to do, life, love, you name it, ask away, and I'm here to answer that. And why am I doing this? Because when I came to the United States, I wanted to learn about cars. I'm originally from West Africa, and a lot of people shooed me away and wouldn't help me. A young man by the name of John Concialdi, who was the founder of AEM, took me under his wing and taught me everything I knew. And then above and beyond that, I had people like Ed Iskandarian and Nick Arias II. These are individuals who, from Aries Pistons to Iski Cams, really took to me and shared with me their experiences with domestics. And I used that information technology to transfer to Sport Compact and did so well with it. Another great gentleman who helped me a lot, Bob Godfrey, who did a lot of racing with nostalgic vehicles, old school, domestic, and just helped me, got me into aluminum rods and just, so because I benefited so much for individuals who actually took time to help me, I am doing the same thing. I am paying back by providing all of you what I needed when I was younger. In that sense, becoming the person I needed when I was younger. That's why I'm here. So please ask away. I know we've been on for almost 35 minutes, but I'm here to assist and just give back because this country, the community, people who are very kind to me have helped me tremendously. And I just want to do the same for anyone because you never know. Ricky Unfiltered says, hello, BC, long time no see. Hello, Ricky, my good friend. So good seeing you. I do have a gift for you, Ricky, so let's connect soon. I have something that you asked me for, and I put it aside for you. So let's get together sooner than later. What's the car with the open wheels, says Bass Pro 1000. That is a Caterham Lotus 7, courtesy of Lotus Cars Limited. It's an open-air Caterham, so if you look at Caterham 7, you see what it is. It came in as a very smelly petrol-based Ford old school 34 horsepower setup. Now it's a 120 horsepower setup with almost 200 pound-foot of torque electric, and it's here to get validated as soon as the climate allows us to. The client has it here. We increase some opportunities for programming, reflash the inverter for some very cool stability in terms of mobility solutions. And above and beyond that, plan on the BMS to give a little bit more range. So that being said, it's going to be a very fun project. I just need to get on the road to do some final testing before I head it out to the customer, you know? If it would be sold, how much would it be? The gray car to the left, that right there, if the client was to sell that, it'll probably be close to 300, about 300,000. The original body was an 83 air-cooled 3.0. If it had a bigger engine, like a 3.6, it would even command another $30 to $40,000 more. So yeah, that's what it is. If you're interested, let me know. I can let the client know, and maybe he'll be open to parting with it and building another one. Who knows? Who knows? But just let me know. Yes, sir, says Hyperkeys. Thank you so much for your support. Said you did it. Appreciate you indeed. Oh, I just messed up here. Sorry, my Instagram friends. Giovanni, Oil City. Good seeing you, sir. Good, thank you so much. Can I bring over Technica race wire? Tell me more, Tumbleleaf. What is Technica race wire? I'm not familiar with this particular concept. Bless you as well, Cool Wheelchair. Thank you so much, Shop Thoughts and Randomness, for my number 2 gifter badge. Appreciate the kind gesture. Thanks for the love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see here. What's your opinion on the G37 platform as a track vehicle? And I assume when you say G37, you're referring to the potent and quite popular G37 series from Nissan. It's an okay project. I am kind of really partial to mid and mid-rear engine cars. I haven't played around with anything in the G37 platform personally because I don't have a very strong relationship with Nissan yet. But from an aesthetic perspective and a lookout, and it has a very Porsche-esque silhouette to it, I think it may be cool. The engines have great potentials. The gearboxes are potent and strong. Many people use G37 gearboxes, and we had one in the house here in S2000s, even with the F20C boosted setup. Some people drift with those gearboxes. It's a good opportunity. So that being said, yeah, by all means. It's a Porsche harness company, says Tumbleleaf. Oh, if that's the case, when you said harness, I was thinking that it was a harness for wiring, because of course, I'm constantly surrounded by wires, right? So that being said, my mind automatically went there. So yes, bring it over. Let's take a look. Let's see what's going on. I would love to be able to explore that. Currently, I use Momo for all our harness needs, but I'll be more than happy to explore something a little different to see how I like it. So let me know when you're available to bring one over. Do you like natural aspirated Mazda Miatas or NA? Maybe you're talking about NA, natural aspirated, or NA as in NA, NB, NC, and D. I do. Miatas are probably the most, I won't say probably, the Mazda Miata is the most fun I've had in a car with less than 200 horsepower. Like fun. I'm crazy about horsepower, driving cars till it scares you. However, the Mazda Miata is so balanced, so much fun. And did you know, guys, that any given race weekend, there are more Mazda Miatas racing on racetracks than any other marquee or make on the planet. Any given weekend. People love to race Miatas. So, long question to a short answer. I do like Mazda Miatas indeed. I have a full turbo kit, says Maropara 87, and just got a Link ECU setup. Very nice. I heard good things about Link. I've attended a class on it. I have not tuned Link yet. I tend to do a lot more with AEM, with Hondata, a little bit with Howtech, and exploring M-Tron as time progresses. So yeah. So that being said, guys, wow, it's 40 minutes in. I do have to get ready for work, get back to work. So it's a pleasure seeing all of you guys. But please, please, we have a winter storm here in Southern California. Please, as all of you have continued experience in Southern California, when it rains, people tend to drive very aggressively. Please be defensive, stay safe out there, stay dry and cool. I think there's some events this weekend with Brecky. I plan on hopefully, weather permitting, being there on Sunday. But it's going to be pouring cats and dogs today, being Tuesday through Wednesday through Thursday, and I think into next week. So that being said, guys, thank you so much for for attending this particular interaction. Look forward to seeing you guys sometime next week, and hopefully we can keep doing some fun things together. Have a great one, guys. Take care. Cheers. Bye-bye.